Morning everyone, Nicholas Devine, Assistant Professional out here at Lake Carrinup Country Club. And as I said, I was going to put the Mizuno ST180 driver up against these three bad boys. And I've got the Ping, TaylorMade and the Callaway. So hang out for this video and we'll see how this driver actually goes against the top three. So, technology wise, I'm not going to cover this because if you want to see information on all these four drivers, you've probably just seen the one that I did on Mizuno. I actually do have one there on Ping G400, which I've left a link below. These two came out a little bit after, or a fair way before I actually started my YouTube channel. So if you want to see reviews on these, Rick Shields, go have a look at his channel. He's got some really good reviews on these two drivers. But if I do go into a little bit of technology into all these four drivers, let's just say for instance the CG or CG locations are relatively far back in all these four drivers, but not necessarily the Callaway Epic Subzero. Now you're going to ask myself, or you're going to ask me, why the hell am I putting this driver up against these three? And yes, I do know it's the better player's driver. But the reason why I did put this up against these three is because there is no adjustability in any of these heads. The Callaway Epic driver has a slider across the back, and I wanted to keep this as a clean driver test. So I'm expecting the ball flight to go out a little bit lower in the Epic Subzero than these three models, but like I said, I just wanted to keep the bottom of the heads as clean as possible when doing this testing. So there you go, there's your question answered. Now, CG location's in a good spot. All of them have thin crowns, okay, so they could get the CG location back. All have a good high MOI, so they're fairly, relatively forgiving drivers. More so in these three than to this one. But again, like I said, the reason I did it was we needed to keep it nice and clean. So anyway, grab a cup of tea, have a sit down. I'm going to hit 5 shots with each of these. I'll try and get through them as quickly as I can, and then I'll show you probably the best shot that I hit with each of these four drivers. Then from there, we'll sit down, we'll have a look at the numbers. I want to see the spin rate on all of them. I want to see the maximum altitude they all reach, and I want to see the overall distance. Now remember, I'm only 100 to 105 mile per hour swinger, and for a club golfer hitting a driver, you're probably going to be close to that figure, so you're going to get a very good review on what these drivers could possibly do for you. So anyway, like I said, grab a cup of tea, sit down, relax, enjoy the music. Hopefully it's decent enough, and we'll see how these four drivers go. And let's see if Mizuno has finally caught up to the rest. Just thought I'd let you know before you see the shots being hit. I managed to get all the heads in 9 to 9.5 degrees. 2 of them are 9, 2 of them are 9.5. And great thing, I got Kurikaji shafts in all of them, so we're going to get a very, very comparative test here. Also, don't forget we're using the SkyTrack launch monitor to grab all our ball data, and we are using the NXT Tour S as our golf ball. enjoyed the hitting. I tried to get through it as quick as I possibly could, but now it's down to the crunch time, and we're going to start looking at the numbers, because that's really what's going to make you determine whether or not the Mizuno driver actually stands up against the rest. So first of all, club head speed, now roughly 95 to 97. Swing speed is down for me at the moment. I know I don't have a quick swing speed at all, but right now I'm trying to work on something through impact, and that's slowing me down a little bit more through the golf ball. So 95 to 97, so it's relatively the same as you can see from the numbers coming up on the screen. Launch angle, okay. Callaway, as expected, came out the lowest, simply because it's a Sub-Zero, so it is going to have a little bit more of a penetrating ball flight, so that came out at 10.8. Mizuno came in at 12, which came in at second place, so that's pretty good, and well done, Mizuno. It doesn't launch out too high, and if I talk about the ball flight of this driver, it had a very solid ball flight. It just looked like it penetrated through the air, and that's when we move into the spin numbers. And as you can see there, Mizuno has one on spin, 2917, which kind of shocked me. I expected my Callaway Sub-Zero to have the lowest spin, but Mizuno's won that, coming in at 2917. Now I aim for anywhere between 2500 to 3100 with my driver, and that's just me, because that's what I know I hit best. So 2917, well done, Mizuno. Now total height. Total height for me is a big factor. If you're playing in windy conditions, you don't want to have that driver getting up there too high, because the wind can have an effect on it. And Mizuno came in at second. Callaway won is what I expected, because it being the Sub-Zero, it has more of a penetrating ball flight. But Mizuno came in second there, only by 1 meter, so 20 meter ball flight. Now if you look at the image I'm showing you just now of all the shots I hit, the Mizuno's in white, the Ping's in orange, the TaylorMade's in green, and the Callaway is in blue. And the TaylorMade did soar a lot higher, which I expected, and Lenny told me it might do that, the TaylorMade rep, that it might fly a little bit higher than the rest, and it has, and that came in at a maximum ceiling of 24 meters. So Mizuno again there, coming in second, good job. Shot dispersion, now you'll see this come up on the screen right now. And shot dispersion for me is a big thing, because you want to be able to see that the driver is relatively consistent. And funny enough, Ping always say their driver is the most consistent with regards to shot dispersion, and it has won. TaylorMade, Mizuno's was relatively okay. TaylorMade, I believe, came in at second. But I hit a few shots leaky a little bit to the right. That's probably why it went a little bit high. But Ping for me always wins in shot dispersion, and every time I looked at my shot and I looked up, it was relatively in the same area. Mizuno coming in, I think, at a comfortable third. So there you go, Mizuno doing okay overall. Now the big one, and the one that everybody wants to know, is it longer? Is it as long as they say it is? No, not as long as, for me, as long as they say it is, but it's not too far off. Ping was the shortest for me. Mizuno came in at third, Callaway came in second, and the TaylorMade won, and Lenny did tell me that his TaylorMade driver was going to win, and it did, at 227. So for my ball speeds, or my club head speeds, I don't expect to hit it miles with the speed that I was hitting at it right now, but it's a very good comparative test, because like I said, club golfers roughly have a club head speed around that speed, and it goes to show that there isn't really that much difference between all four drivers at that swing speed. So overall, is the Mizuno driver a good option? Yes, it is. It is finally, for me personally, caught up to the rest, and that is a big thing for Mizuno. Mizuno, for me, are known for their irons, and probably one of the best club makers of irons in the world, if not the best, but never really hit the driver market like they have now. And this driver, you can finally say Mizuno has a driver that their Mizuno iron players will be happy to hit. So there you go. Go out there in first week of December and you can get your hands on that Mizuno ST180 driver. Well, I hope this video has been a bit informative and given you a little bit into an insight of what to expect with the Mizuno ST180 driver. But most of all, make sure you hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. I know some people are going to comment on saying you shouldn't have used the Subzero, you should have just used the Callaway Epic. Yes, I know, but like I said earlier, I wanted clean bottom drivers on all the drivers I was hitting. Once you get your hands on the Mizuno ST180, leave a comment below. Let me know how you've gone with it. But most of all, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's free to do, just gives you a notification of where the next video is. And we'll see you next time on ND Golf.